What's up, Knuckle Busters? This is Z from Code on Maintenance, and today I want to talk about mechanic salaries. This is a very hot topic. It's always been argued on the several groups and across all different types of platforms and things like that. What I ended up doing is accumulating a bunch of, ND, salary, BLS, and getting all these type of data points, independent sources, the government sources, to get you a good picture of what somebody can make, and that way you can make a better informed decision if an A&P is worth it for you, or uh, if you want to get into this career, or you're in the military and you want to get out, and see if that would help you take that step to transition from the military to civilian life, right? So I myself grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, and I wanted to work for Lockheed as a teenager because I always saw the F-16s flying around, and that was my dream, to work on war machines. So that's why I joined the Air Force, and my job was, hey, I want to be an aircraft mechanic. 5 days later, I was in the I was in boot camp. So it was like, I think it was Sunday, or maybe less if I know. I went to the recruiter's office on Friday, told them I want to get the fuck out of here. Sunday, I got the call from the recruiter saying, "Hey, I can get you out of here as soon as possible by Wednesday." I said, "You down?" Yes. Probably not those particular words. I'm pretty sure the slang wasn't there the same back in 2003, 2004. But yeah, I took that call and said, "Yes, I want to go." And yeah, I just picked up my stuff, the little bit of stuff that I had, and flew to San Antonio for Air Force boot camp, and back in the summer of 2004. Um, and then I wanted to work for Lockheed afterwards. Do my 4 years, get out, and then work for Lockheed, work on machines and stuff like that. I was very happy about it, and I was happy to work in the Air Force too. And as I grow up in the Air Force and things like that, a lot of people make a lot of decisions on staying in or getting out, depending on their money, on what the bank account looks like, personal economics, I like to say. And then throughout my whole 14 years in the military service, I've never heard about an AMP. I never heard about aviation maintenance certifications. I just had this, and nobody's really taught me that. And I felt like, and people didn't know about it, right? So I want to change that. That's why I started Code One, to provide that service. And one of the reasons why I kind of got out of the Air Force, before my 20-year mark, why I made a risk to start a business. And I've only had, you know, kind of a e-commerce business, but then I've also have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And if I ever joined, or if I ever started up a business, I wanted to make an impact. And one of the parts of that is to help people's personal economics. Not so much with aviation maintenance certifications, but like, hey, how to make money on the side. Because I've always done it. I've always done it since I was a kid in elementary, high school, and in the military. I've always, no matter where I was in the world, I always had that skill. So fast forward, now I get out of 14 years, and I found aviation maintenance certifications. I saw what a lot of people weren't doing, and I felt like they weren't doing it. They were doing a disservice, especially to our military community, and I want to change that. So I learned a lot about marketing. I did learn about sales, because sometimes we get in the way of our own selves. And one of those things is just, there's not a lot of information out there. Not that there is not a lot of information. It's just, it's not packed like this and then distributed so you can uh, get that information, for especially when it comes to the military community. So today, I'm hoping that I can help you make that decision, to make that leap, have the options, and have some information that you can take with you. And let's say that you're sick and tired of this industry, or you're sick and tired of being in the military, because let's be honest, the military is not for everybody. I loved it. I did all what I wanted to do, and I got out. And learning about aviation man certifications helped me, create a business and be a solution to the industry shortage and help out, people in my aviation maintenance community have those options. And with those options also comes with the opportunities, great pay and great benefits. And that's super important. And as I was coming up, like I said, there was not a lot of information about it. And I've had friends who got kicked out, who couldn't re-enlist, and they didn't know about this. So they didn't have a lot of options. They were working at Home Depot. Nothing wrong with Home Depot. It's just they didn't want to be there. These particular guys did not want to be there, and they were trying to make ends meet. So if they would have known about, say, an AMP or something like that, they would have had a lot better situation when they transition out. And that's what I want to prevent for a lot of people. At least grow the awareness that, hey, the military pays for this. These are possible opportunities for you if you invest your time, because the Air Force, the military pays for it. So it's not a lot of your finances coming out of it unless you travel there and stuff like that. But it's definitely worth it for some opportunities to open up, some certainty for the future, so you can still provide food on the table and a roof over your head for you and your family. And that's what I want to do. So let's jump into it. Like I said, I have uh, tabs open for from the government side of things, the independents like Boeing and all the different airlines and stuff like that. And so let's start with what's an AMP. What does an aircraft mechanic do on the outside? Just like you do in the military, or if you have experience on civilian aircraft, you troubleshoot, you adjust, you repair, you overhaul aircraft, hydraulic components, maybe some engine components, assemblies. You work with hydro and you work with pneumatic systems. Some of you might have some avionics background, or you are an avionics person and that you work on electronics. You work on very high tech technologies on civilian and military stuff. And all skills that you have are super valuable. And you can put it towards your experience to gain an AMP. That's what an aircraft mechanic does. Sometimes you do basic servicing, changing the oil, or at least adding the oil, doing inspections on the inlet, the engine, the airframe itself, flight controls. You got to do all this stuff. And these jobs or these tasks are super important because as an aircraft mechanic, a lot of lives are in your hands, and that's always I'm so grateful that I've never had any major accidents, but or any major f ups, not accidents, but f ups, and that's always like having that responsibility in you can keep you up at night. I remember first coming in. Oh man, it was tough to sleep sometimes because not that we did shitty work. It was just I'm brand new. I'm learning. I'm hoping that I did the job right and stuff like that. So, and luckily never had that issue. But the responsibility that an aircraft mechanic has is super important, and it's not everybody can do this. So as such, aircraft mechanics should be paid really well and have the benefits and be taken care of. So let's see. Let's jump into what's the salary. So on salary.com, an aircraft mechanic is in the United States. The average aircraft mechanic salary in the United States is $90,637 as of March 30 or 29, 2022. And some of the stuff like the BLS over here that I have is a little outdated. It's about a year behind. And here's some of the typical ranges: from nearly 79,000 and 102,000. That's a great gig. That's the typical range there. And But of course, there's some factors that go with it. Education. So if you're in the military, education's is free for you. Whether you're getting license certifications or you're getting associates in a bachelor's degree, get those things. Certifications. Um, it's kind of funny because I heard there's one particular guy at a military base. I'm not going to say where or when or where he works for or what's his name, but this mofo told people that the certifications are not important for aircraft mechanics. And I was like, what, are you crazy? The A&P is probably more important than a freaking degree. I mean, that's the champagne of aviation maintenance. Like you need that. That's the cream of the crop. You need those things. So, but some of the factors you got to think about is education, certifications. I think the certification should be upfront, and then education, additional skills. If you have other skills that you can acquire while you're in the military or while you're working for somebody else in the civilian world, where um, you know take those opportunities. If they're paying for that, take those opportunities because that just makes you more valuable for an employer, and a lot of times puts your resume at the top of the list. And let's see, with more online real-time compensation data, salary gonna helps you determine. Okay, whatever. So right here, the median $90,637. That's crazy. The top 10 right here, it's 112,000. So I've heard of people who, when they get topped out on airlines, it's very feasible for people to make 90,000, 100,000. I've heard of guys who work for UPS out in Kentucky at CVG Airport and started off at $95,000. Of course, he had degrees, he had an A&P and stuff like that, and it's helped him get that far. But that's super important to, something to think about. If you're in 6 years trying to use it for education and get certifications, knock all those things out. And here's a little tidbit, at least for the Air Force. If you're in the Air Force and you get your A&P before you start doing any aviation classes, you get 32 credits. And I'm not 100% of where all those 32, but I'm pretty sure that you can knock out a lot of classes with those 32 college credits. So look into that, contact your education office. But the last time I heard, which is recent, that that's the case. So that's that's where we're at with salary.com. Now, again, this is May 2021. They're a little behind. So this is aircraft mechanics and service technicians. And it's not too far, 98,000. Yeah, it's a few grand away from 112, like it was posting on salary.com. But these were salaries, I want to say it was being posted. Well, then I saw that information. Okay, I'm not going to go through too crazy with that. The 90% percentile, they're earning $47.40, 90, nearly 99,000 here for just a year ago. Here's some industries: support activities for air transportation. I have no clue what that means. Sorry. Scheduled air transportation. I'm assuming this is the commercial airlines, passenger, airlines, and their mean average, which I think means average. So that's 88,000. That's great. That's great to see. Parts of manufacturing, industries with the highest concentration of employment. Are these industries. Carriers and express, they do really well, like UPS, DHL, and things like that. They are great. Top paying industries for aircraft mechanics and service technicians: utility system construction. They pay well. I know a student earlier this year got his A&P and started started at a nuclear power plant at 120 grand, and that's amazing. As long as he has that A&P, he can go there. I was like, wow, that's crazy, super crazy, and I was super happy for that guy. Legal services, I have no idea what that is, and if you have any idea what that means or why they were charged so much, put it in the comments, please. And so that way we can all get educated. I get some education as well. Here's some instruments, manufacturing, navigational, measuring, electromedical. I see that's kind of a growing thing around here, like mapping and what's it called, drones and stuff like that, being mechanic, and there's huge drones too. I saw one down a couple of doors down from us, and they do a lot of drones, and these drones are huge, and they have mechanics, and they're making pretty good, decent money there. Semiconductor, electronic component manufacturing, if you have those skills, you're looking to do something like that, not on the flight line, that's 81,000 is a great gig. And some of the, let's see, the highest employment in aircraft mechanics: Texas, Florida, California, Tennessee, Georgia. There you go. And this ALS has great, they can narrow it down to the metropolitan with the highest employment, highest concentration of jobs. Let's see, top paying metro areas: San Jose, Baltimore, San Francisco, California, Washington, D.C. area, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, all places where nobody wants to live, but that's where they're at with the big, money's at. Yeah. Go to bls.com or .gov, I'm sorry, and they have a lot of information about that. So can you have a great life? Can you have a great career with being in aviation? Yes, you can. And there's no better time than right now to start. Right here, this is Boeing's 2022's outlook. And here we go, pilot and technician outlook. I'm sorry, 2021 through 2040. So new personnel demand. That means the demand for new people, not what people are already there. And as far as technicians, it's 626,000 technicians. And if I remember right, this middle one was 132,000. So just in North America, and North America is one of the biggest markets, if I remember right. Let's see. Yep, it still holds true. Asia's getting big, Middle East getting big, and South America's getting big. Those are big markets. Great opportunity there. There is no better time to be in aircraft, to get into the aviation industry is right now. And the best time to start improving, if you are not in it and you're aspiring to be an aircraft mechanic outside the military, or you're in school, or you're in high school and you want to get into aviation industry, like myself, who loved aviation maintenance, that it's a good career to pursue, and getting into the big leagues like airlines. That's what I hear quite often. Let's see, this is goes a little further into the technicians. Let's see what they say. 600,000. Okay. Boo. Okay. So now we're going to some of the airlines of what the pay is. And here's some of the things that you're going to require. Again, what is aircraft maintenance, safety protocols, procedures, established laws, no replacement, repair, modification of aircraft equipment, blah, 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 blah. Must have an A&P license. That's the only way. That's the only way Delta will accept you. Must be 18, of course. I don't know why they put that there, because if you have an A&P, you have to be 18. Must be authorized to work in the U.S. Must have high school diploma, GED or equivalent, driver license, passports, on and on and on. Must speak English. And that's usually the case if you have an A&P, you gotta learn how to speak English. Most of the case. Now, what will give you a competitive edge, a preferred qualifications? This is super important. This is good to look at, because I looked at other job boards and they don't have this, but it's kind of cool that Delta did this to give you an idea of what you need. Super important. And I'm actually gonna timestamp this at 21 minutes. Okay, we can edit that out in the future. All right, back to Delta. 1 year full-time work experience, prior military service. There you go, you military guys. How do you have a competitive edge? Work prior experience in the airline industry. Again, this is preferred qualifications. Status is a current Delta employee. That would help. 1 year of mechanical experience outside of educational experience. So this doesn't, mean part 147, but have some mechanical experience, at least 1 year. 1 year aircraft maintenance experience outside of educational experience. 1 year of heavy jet maintenance experience outside of educational experience. So if you're in the military, you're a heavies guy, boom, you got a little of an edge there. So if you're military and you're a heavies guy, good. But hey, I have heard a lot of like I have a buddy that was an A10 guy, and he still jumped on Delta, and so you don't have it, but he did fulfill one of these, and he has an AMP, of course. Let's see, heavy experience and prior electronics avionics experience, or FCC license. And I was talking to one of our trusted advisors here at Code Maintenance, and he has 3 to 4 decades on military and civilian aviation in a training, HR position, and stuff like that. I think he was a good person to go to and ask why do they want FCC. And a lot of times is that they get tons of applicants, and this is from what he told me was that the way to filter out a lot of those people is that they see what their qualifications are, some of the preferred qualifications, and that's how they kind of rack and stack it, or filter out some of the people who don't have an AMP, who only have an AMP, and stuff like that. And the airlines like to filter a lot out and have the extra things, be more valuable, be more qualified technician, and they love to see that. So if you have an FCC and you haven't used it in a while, start learning about it, because these aircraft are equipped with advanced technologies that would be super beneficial for your learning. So when you, like this one here, look at it, preferred qualifications, right? Prior electronics avionics experience or FCC, but why not have both, right? We try to have as much of these as much as possible. Yeah, some of you might not be an employee yet and things like that, but hey, you can start off that way. You can knock out some of this. All right, so I thought this was pretty cool job posting, and I wanted to share that with you. So let's go into the pay. So if we go into the pay, you can look at the Glassdoor here for Southwest. And sorry, everybody, I just need to check the timestamp here, 24:30. Pay 30. All right, as you can see here, the average here base pay is 109,000, and they report 15 salaries and a very high confidence, which means this data is based on a large number of fresh, recent salary reports. So there you go, working, getting your weasel your way through Southwest, and that's where your base pay is at. Additional pay average is 10,234. Why is that? One person reported additional pay for this role. This is an average of the amount they reported. Okay, so look at this: 69, 25%, 90,000, 75 percentile, making 113K, and up to 122K. Okay, sounds freaking amazing, right? Total average pay 109,000. Dude, that's a great life. That's awesome. Let's jump in another one. United. Average salary 67,162 per year. That's the average, and you can go as high as $110,000. So I've heard great things about United. We've had guys come in, leave, work for United, things like that, and they had a great time with United. So that's one of the major airlines there. Here we go, American Airlines. Look at this. There's I don't know what this is. Is that the weather? some of these places. Where was this located? I guess I don't know. But 4.0, 4.0 American Airlines. Okay, average salary $89,253. Man, that's that's an awesome sort of play. And you can go as high as 158,000. That's, to me, that's bananas. You can make that much in doing something you love as in aviation maintenance. And me personally, if I had to work for an airline, it's American Airlines because it's in Texas. I'm a Texas guy, and I can be home and get start on that. But I think my number one spot would be Lockheed Martin here. Just my personal preference. Um, but yeah, look at all the benefits they provide and all that stuff like that. So that's very common in the aviate the big airlines. And let's go to another one. This is Delta, 3.9, but not too far from 4.0, and $87,514 in average salary, and you can go as high as $118,000. They provide retirement plans, 401k matching, health insurance. They have maintenance 76,000 per year. So they're like I said, they're hiring like crazy. Everybody's hiring like crazy. So position yourself, get that education. It's free. And if you get your A&P while you're in the military as a service member currently staying in, and you have no education, get that A&P, get 30 something credits knocked off. And basically at the end of in a couple of years, after all the schooling that you do, all the personal development you do in the military, you only have to take a couple of classes and boom, you're done. So get your 7 level, get your, get the, you know, job promotions, get your upgrade training and stuff like that, and earn those things because you actually get credits for those. I know for at least in the Air Force, you get credits to be a 7 level, and I'm not sure how that is in the Army, the Marines, and the Navy, but do all those career developments and take advantage of the cool programs that they have, so that way you can minimize it or totally um, removes the cost. So the only investment you're making is your time, and if you have to travel, that's the only expenses you're making. And when you work for some airlines like that, making 100,000 dollars, that's a great investment. For you know depending where you go, say 3,500 to $8,000 is some of the prep courses I've seen. Is boom, that's nothing. You get money. That's going to be have a great return on your investment. So today I just wanted to talk about is the mechanic salary. If you're making more, please comment below. Tell us your story of if you're in the service and how much you jumped. We've had guys work for some on base contracting and things like that, and not that even if it was required, but they were giving guys an extra $20,000 a year to have an A&P, and I was like just mind blown by that. And another places you can look at is custom and borders. I heard of high 30s, 40s. In places like Tucson, Albuquerque, around the southern border, they have great pay and there. And so, um, there's other places like Gulfstream. There's a lot of great places you can work for and earn a good living, even to start off with. So that was the main topics I wanted to talk about was the mechanics salary. And, there's so much argument. There's so much debate. Oh, the industry is this, and the pay wasn't good enough, and they go to another industry that pays the same or less. Um, but in aviation maintenance, it's a great career. Just getting out of school, getting your feet wet, or if you leave the service, uh, leaving the military and you jump into going into civilian life. There's a lot of great programs out there. Make sure you get contact with the Veteran Center in your local area to see if they have programs to maybe even pay for this stuff. I know for the DoD, there's a lot of programs like Army and Air Force schools pay for everything. Navy and the Marines, even if they pay the exams, that's awesome. If you're in a service, VA pays for your exams as well. So, uh, it's some companies will even pay for your course if you're gonna get hired on. Not so much, probably not the big airlines, but a lot of regional jets, a lot of regional companies will do that. I know Republic Airways will pay up to $5,000 if you go work for them, and they have great jobs out there. No A&P, you can start off at $25 an hour. And it's probably in selected areas, but look them up. You can look for them on their careers page for Republic Airways. We know people who worked there and they loved it, and I always hear great things about them. And their aircraft is pretty awesome. So again, position yourself, become, and also get on LinkedIn and start contacting these recruiters, because they will direct you. They can ask them the question, hey, how can I become the 1%? How do I get my resume to the top? What do I need to do? So, that way you can become, your resume can be on top of that list, and you have that knowledge. Whether you're a couple of years out, start making those moves, position yourself, because it takes time. So again, this is Z. Please follow, subscribe, and like our stuff, so that way this type of content can spread, because this is a very hot topic. Debates go on all social media platforms, and hopefully this is valuable, or hopefully this was educational to help you make an informed decision. If you want to jump into this industry, continue your aviation career. And again, tell me about your experience so far if you're already in the industry, and comment below with that. And I'd love to hear your comments, your feedback, anything. If I need to grow some hair, put it in the comments, please. Let me know. But I hope this was helpful, and I'll continue to make some more content like this. And if you want to start your A&P process, go to our page, code1mx.com, and maybe book an appointment with us, so that way we can have a trusted advisor talk to you about the industry, what he's seen. He's always staying on top of that kind of stuff, and he has decades of experience from training to what the industry is looking like. And we have these conversations all the time. So just reach out and see if we, if the aviation industry is, something you want to do or continue, for some of you who are already in the industry. So get your certifications, get your education. It's free if you're in the service. And there's a lot of programs out there that, there's a shortage. Look out for it, and you will find something. Go to your local governments, like the economic development centers, veteran centers for you vets. If you're currently serving, look there. There's resources out there for aviation maintenance. So until next time, have a good day. Take care.